Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back again, and today we're going to just review those Honda fairings that I ordered direct from China. Basically, I went with a manufacturer that had decent reviews, and I actually went straight to them. The company is actually located, the money transferred to China. It seems like the Chinese over here at ntfairings.com actually custom made these fairings for me because they didn't have them in stock. They actually have a supply house in California, but they didn't have the fairings I wanted that were painted with the stickers that I wanted on there, so I contacted them directly, and they had these fairings produced in about, I think it was 5 or 7 days. It was less than a week where they were produced and painted, and everything was made for me custom. And then when I noticed that they sent me a tracking number, it actually shipped out of Hong Kong, which is kind of iffy, but we're talking about big international companies, worldwide companies in China. So just for this review, it did come from ntfairings.com. And if you want to reach them, their email is info@nt-fairings.com, and they actually have a telephone number, and the telephone number is located in California, so you can order directly from them at 626-620-4868. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open this up, and we're going to do a couple things. The packaging, I'm going to give a scale of 1 to 10 on how I feel it was packaged. The quality of the fairings and the color match of the fairings of the original. I actually have the originals that are kind of a little busted up and whatnot, but yeah, so we're going to open this up, and this is my first review video, so bear with me. And actually, my grammar isn't real well. I actually released a video of I'm trying to sell some merchandise, and the grammar police on Facebook, I started getting all kinds of messages. You spelled this wrong and you spelled that wrong. Look, I barely passed high school, so you know my grammar. I probably have about 8th grade level of English, because in high school I really didn't do too much. Basically what it come down to is I wasn't challenged, so high school was just like, all I needed to do was graduate. So, you know, actually I'm going to play this video. It's about a minute long. Bear with me. The merchandise will really help me out if there's any purchases, but we'll go through this, and this is all their information, and then I'll rate the quality of these fairings. But it did come in a timely manner. I was actually surprised. They told me 15 to 20 days shipping. It was here within about 6 days. How in the world it gets here from Hong Kong in 6 days, but I can't get a package from California or New York when I buy stuff on eBay? And they can never make it within 5 days of a week when it comes out of those hubs in the United States. I don't know what the deal is, but the Chinese and the Japanese, I guess the shipping is, I think it usually goes through DHL. I'm not even sure who delivered this package to my house. I come home from work and it was there. So yeah, I'm going to play this merch video, and then we're going to get right into this unboxing video. And if anybody wants to buy any shirts, it really helped me out. I'd like to keep bikes coming into the garage. So we'll get right into this. So this is the box that it came in, and it actually wasn't damaged. I was kind of surprised on that. And actually, all their information is on the box itself. They actually have a well, a lot of people don't know what that phone is. I believe that's WhatsApp, Facebook, and a scan code for your cell phone, so it'll direct you right to the manufacturer. But it's very light. There's not a whole lot in here. But it made it to my house without damage. I'm surprised it didn't like fall off a truck or something. So we'll open this up. One thing you do want to watch when you open this up is I'm actually going to use a razor knife, which I don't recommend. Don't cut too deep into the tape because I'm not sure how this is packaged. So it's taped really well. it's kind of hard for me to believe that all the fairings are in this box. I've actually ordered Chinese fairings for Ducati 748 one time that I had custom painted, and they did a very good job painting it, but the fitment was just absolutely horrible. I had to actually make modifications to the fiberglass, and I remember I made 2 brackets just to get the thing to fit because it wasn't made properly. And I believe they use injection molding, so if they had a copy of these fairings with the injection molding, everything should be about spot on. But, you know, for the price of these fairings, you can't really expect a lot, you know, from the OEM price, because the price of one OEM fairing is the price of about a whole kit from these people. So, you know, and they have all kinds of different colors, and you actually can negotiate a little bit with these manufacturers. If you call them direct, you're probably not going to be able to negotiate, but through the internet you can negotiate. So okay, then more styrofoam here, and there isn't. It looks like it's just wrapped in this wrapping. I actually expected styrofoam to keep it from getting damaged on the sides. So let's go ahead and get this unpackaged. You can really see the color. Now, the one thing I did want on these fairings was the F4i logo on the bottom and the Honda logo on the bottom. What they had in stock in California at their warehouse didn't have this. They were just the colored ones. So I'm just going to take these out and place these aside, and then we'll unwrap them. Just be careful when you're cutting this, you know, because you don't want to damage the paint. So here is the left, would be the left fairing. This will be your headlight piece. This will be your right fairing. This will be your undertail and your air scoops for the tank, I believe. Then we have your fender, your front fender. They actually threw in a windscreen. I didn't think they were going to throw in a windscreen. Actually throwed this in. I've used this before. This usually will go on your belly pan. This is a heat shield that's, well, considering where this come from, I don't know what this is made from. You know, over in China, they use materials that over here in the U.S. they can't get away with. So I'm unsure of using that. It's probably got asbestos in it. I don't know. That's it for that. Wow. It's really red. See if I got that other fairing over here. Believe it or not, this is painted extremely well. I don't see any orange peel or damage on that fairing. This is the original. Look how, I mean, you can't really see it, but this is really faded. The money he spent on this fairing kit, if the rest of the pieces are like that, is well worth the money just for the appearance of it. Let's keep going. Okay, this piece will go in your belly pan between your two fairings for the left and the right side, and this did not get painted. This is just black plastic. I actually was expecting that to be painted, which it's not. And it may not have been on the original. And I had no idea that they was gonna send these. These are the air scoops. These weren't even in the picture. So these go in the air tunnel to cut the air that's going into the air box, so you get more velocity and it cuts the air going in. And this is for the air dams, the covers on the tank. And these also are not painted. These are just plastic, which I think the originals were plastic too. But they feel like they're very well made. I mean, they're very solid. They're not flimsy. So, yeah, those pieces there would not have been painted at all. I actually prefer a clear windshield. I will call Nick and see if he wants to run this. The reason I like the clear windshield, so you can look at it when you're bent over the tank, where, you know, your eye level actually will be a little bit above this, but, you know, I don't know if he's going to run this or not. Now, I'll tell you what, this actually is very stiff for a windscreen, which can be good and bad. When you're mounting it, you want to be careful not to over tighten it, because I've broken all these tabs and these circles before on other bikes over tightening these windscreens. Okay, now this will be the rear tail. It's very cold right now. It's about 18 degrees outside. Okay, so they did clear over the stickers, which I'm actually surprised. I figured they would have just laid the stickers. That's how it should have been. And the paint looks really good. Actually, a little trick for you. When I was in auto body, if you want to mask up crappy bodywork, white paint is actually the best paint to use. There is one noticeable thing. There's a little red mark on the side of here, which I don't know if I'll be able to buff that out. It appears that it's over the clear coat. It might have touched something in the shipment, but yeah, this is really clean. It looks really good. There's no damage to it that I can see. So, yeah, overall, this is a very nice tailpiece. Now this is the front fairing. And all the tabs for the screw holes look like they're molded right into the injection molding process. Where actually the Ducati 748 fairings that I had purchased from another manufacturer at one point in time a couple years ago, they had produced the fairing itself, and then they came back and I believe they plastic welded all the tabs for the screws, where this looks like it was all done in the molding process. And they cleared over the sticker. I actually don't believe that sticker was on there. I had them put that on there. I thought that'd be kind of sharp on the front end there. And they did put the CBR logo on there. I'm not for certain that the CBR logo from the manufacturer, the OEM fairing, actually went from the fairing to the front fairing to the left side fairing. And a couple of the holes don't look like they were quite drilled out. I'm probably going to have to drill those holes out, which isn't a big deal because you'll have a screw over the holes. But overall, this looks pretty good. There isn't any noticeable orange peel or runs in the paint, which I'm kind of surprised with how fast that they produce these. I mean, they painted these, let it dry, and then shipped them really quick. So that's a really good looking piece there as well. This actually is looking better than I had expected. Harbin beer. I think it's beer. That's hilarious. Since 1900, you know, in China, well, these shipped out of Hong Kong, which Hong Kong, I believe, is in Japan. Chinese are very big into the NBA. The NBA is sponsored, apparently, Harbin beer. But the one thing with China that a lot of people don't understand is they don't have any copyright laws. There's a YouTube channel called ADV China that has taught me a lot about Chinese. I actually tried to produce my own jump starters, which I was successful in. It took me a very long time, and I actually ended up getting screwed over by the Chinese manufacturer because I told them what I wanted to do. When I created the jump starter with them and worked with them, and had a very smart woman actually edit their instruction manuals and edit it to the proper English, I told them what I was wanting to do with getting on Amazon, and they kept shipping me products, and I'd ship it back and say, we need to change this and change that, and I'm getting my logo produced onto the product. Had many samples come in. That's how you have to do it. It takes a long time to do that stuff when you're working with the Chinese. And I had mentioned to them that I wanted to get on Amazon, and within 2 months, this took about a 6-month process to work with this product with this company, and within 2 months after I finalized it, we were going to go into production, and it did go into production. I only got 10 units sent to me to begin with. The Chinese sellers had went on Amazon on me and actually undercut me to a point where I wasn't able to produce the product and ship the product to my house and then sell the product on Amazon. I was very upset about it, but you learn a lot about that when people screw you over. So, you know, a lot of people don't understand that when you have a product produced in China for America, you have to, when you have a legitimate business under the tax law, you have to pay to import that stuff on your taxes, and then you have to pay state sales tax and federal taxes at the end of the year. It's very costly and very expensive. That's why stuff in China is reasonably cheaper. And the shipping is very outrageous, usually straight from China. But Harbin beer, never seen that before. Okay, the one thing I will mention here, as you can see, they did not waste their time painting the inner fender. It's got a lot of overspray on it. Holy cow. And we got a small problem here. That fairing's damaged. The paint looks really good, and the stickers are laid out on it. I'm not sure how this got damaged. It looks like it was cut with a knife. That's what it appears to look like there. And the sad thing is, when you order this stuff from China, when you order this stuff from China and it comes into the country, once it hits the clearance for the importations, that I don't know who's in charge of it. It might be Homeland Security now. They literally can go in and open your packages, and that's damaged to where I don't believe that they would have shipped that to me like that. I think this package has been opened up, because that is a straight knife cut on that piece there. I will be contacting them about that. Okay, last piece. The red looks really good. I'm actually surprised by the quality of this. The paint quality, I mean. Okay, I'll get this laid out and show all this to you. It's looking really good for the price. And I have all this laid out, and I'll just show you here. I'm gonna have to get a camera for my new, got a new camera set up here. I'm actually using a digital video camera recorder, which I really like compared to what I'm using, or what I've used before. And the only thing on these fairings that I noticed was this cut mark on this fairing here. And it's actually gonna be a problem because of where this mounts at. I'm going to contact them about that. See that? And it looks like it, I mean, if it gets on there and jiggles a little bit, it might bust off. So other than that, the paint quality is really good for the money. And it did come with everything. However, I did not receive a fairing bolt kit either, which I've got a slew of bolts. So I think he's going to be real happy with this. And best of all was this piece of cardboard from Harbin Beer. If anybody's ever drank this, I'm just curious what the hell that tastes like. So we'll go back to the whiteboard here. But overall, this is a really good kit from this company. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll just rate this. The packaging, I don't think there was enough styrofoam in there, but the packaging was really well, and the only thing that got damaged was the one fairing where it looked like it had been cut. And I went back on the padded protection, and there was a straight cut on it. I believe that box was opened by whoever takes care of the clearances for customs, Homeland Security or whoever that it went to New York. So whoever's in charge of all that when it came over, I believe opened that package. And that front fairing was, I believe, right on top when I opened it. I'll have to go back and look on the video, but I will be contacting them about that. And the packaging, I mean, since nothing else got damaged, and I believe that got damaged from someone in the U.S. opening that up, being a nosy Nancy, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because I think there could have been more styrofoam in there to protect those, but the price of those fairings, really, you really wouldn't want to, spend too much money. And I do know when stuff comes out of China, it needs to be light, and it needs to be, actually, I believe the bigger the package, the cheaper it is, sometimes on some of that stuff. But a lot of it's done by weight, not size in China. The quality, it's not OEM quality. I believe some of the stickers that were laid over the paint on an OEM sticker, you would not have seen that, but they do look really good. There wasn't any orange peel that I saw, and there wasn't any runs. The only thing I noticed was that little nick on that back of that rear fairing piece, and that could have been done with numerous things, but I believe I can get that out by just spraying it and buffing it out. So the quality, it's not OEM quality, but it is a very good quality. So I'm actually going to rate that a 9 out of 10. And color, the color looks good. Red looks really bright. White looks pretty good. You can tell I did match it up to the tank. The white isn't quite right with the OEM white color, but it's very close. And this bike, considering it's a 2001, is 17 years old. If I wax and buff that gas tank, it might appear, I mean, it's actually not even going to be noticeable, but except for to the person that owns it. For the paint quality, I'm actually going to give it a 9 out of 10. The reason I didn't give it a 10 was because it's not from Honda, and if you want your bike to be just like it come off the showroom floor, then you're going to have to spend the money for the parts. These are great alternatives here. And then for the fitment, I cannot judge that. We will judge that down the road. I actually have to go back in on this bike. I'm getting about done with this bike now, but I've got to rip the whole front end apart. We're going to put new rotors, new fork oil, and I'm going to go ahead and change the head bearings in it because it does have 28,000 miles on it. It doesn't have a lot of play in it, but there's enough that if I put new fork oil and new brakes in it, he might get some vibrations out of the front end. So I'm going to go ahead and replace those. I'm waiting on those to come in so I can get started on ripping the front end of this apart. But basically, if I had this bike and I wanted some fairings and the NT fairings were in my budget, I would buy them. So, you know, this is pretty much it. First review video. Hope it helped you out. Check out that merch store and check out the Amsoil, because we're running Amsoil in this bike. He's going to notice a big improvement, and anything that you purchase really helps me out. I'm trying to keep a steady supply of cheaper bikes in here so I can continue on YouTube. But yeah, that's it. So I'm out of here.